My sister-in-law stole the one name in our family that was never supposed to be used again. When my partner and I found out we were having a daughter, we chose a name that wasn't just sentimental. It was specific. It was my great-grandmother's name, not a common one. An old, regional name from her village overseas that had never been used in our family since. We even planned to pair it with the same middle name she had, as a way to honor where our family came from. We were proud of it, so after the second trimester, we shared the name online. That's when things went sideways. My cousin Rachel was also pregnant, about a month ahead of us, and almost immediately she texted saying how interesting the name was. The next day, she announced the exact same first and middle name for her daughter. Same spelling, same combination, everything. I honestly thought it was a mistake. When I asked her about it, she didn't apologize. She smiled and said that since her baby was coming first, the name was basically hers now. She even joked that we could pick something more modern. I told her flat out that the name wasn't trendy, it wasn't random, and it wasn't something you just copy. It came from my family history, not hers. She rolled her eyes and said names don't belong to anyone. Technically, she was right. But I also told her we were still using it, and she could deal with the consequences of choosing it out of spite. That's when her husband got involved. He messaged me saying I was being dramatic and that it would look bad if two cousins had the same name. I told him that stealing a rare family name to provoke someone already looked worse. A few months later, Rachel gave birth. We didn't visit, but she called anyway, clearly expecting praise, and proudly announced she'd named her daughter after my great-grandmother. I told her I didn't care. She demanded to speak to my partner, assuming she'd fold. Instead, my partner was even firmer than I was. The name wasn't changing. Ever. Rachel hung up and spent the next week flooding us with alternative name suggestions. Like she was doing us a favor. I replied once, saying the name wasn't a trend or a compromise, and we were done talking about it. Then she disappeared, until our daughter was born. The second we announced her name, exactly as planned. Rachel completely lost it. She called screaming that we copied her, that people would think she stole the name, and that we embarrassed her. That's when my partner finally snapped. She told Rachel that stealing a rare family name just to hurt someone showed exactly who she was, and that she wanted no relationship going forward. Rachel sent her husband to our house to talk it out. When I opened the door, I could barely keep a straight face. He was pacing under our security camera, trying to act intimidating. I calmly told him he was on camera and needed to leave immediately. He swore, stormed off, and sped away. Later, my aunt called furious. Not that he showed up uninvited, but that I made him feel humiliated. Then she tried one last time to pressure us into changing our baby's name, saying she was still young. I told her Rachel didn't choose the name out of love or heritage. She chose it to provoke us. That ended the conversation. A month later, Rachel called again. She and her husband had a huge fight. He was angry she never let him choose a name from his own family and demanded they change it. She gave in. It cost her over $500 to redo the paperwork.